Welcome back to Doodle Summer Camp. This is day number 4. Day number 4. Super excited to have you here. I am thrilled to have some time every single day to doodle. It's my favorite thing to do, and I know that taking time out of your schedules is a commitment, and I am glad that you do it because it is a valuable investment in yourself. I am continuing on my exploration and on my journey of discovery on my camera. And so I am going to, can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
And it's clear. I'm going to
Yeah.
see if yesterday was a little bit like wonky in terms of, it's still kind of like it doesn't, I want it to be so that you can see, look at this. Wow.
There you go.
There you go.
There we
That
go.
works more better.
Yep.
It doesn't look like it's sliding off the page now.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So today we are going to do kind of a culminating activity, and I want it to be a little bit personal for you. I don't want it, I'm going to doodle and you can copy exactly what I do if you want, but I want to give you license to move beyond what I do and to make it your own personal creativity. We're going to start exactly the same way as we do before, excepting for the neurographic. I'm going to draw my little frame around my page. It just gives me, and this, is it really important? It's probably not that important, but it kind of gives me a feeling of a boundary and a safe space. And as you can see, um, it's not a beautifully square thing. It's just very loose and fun. And then I'm going to draw a similar shape that's in the center, but it's not going to be rectangle. It's going to be kind of sort of squarish. And here's a little bit of a challenge for you. I am a huge proponent of like, you know, doodle things for the sake of doodling, not for the product. And I struggle with doodling things that um, are representations of reality. But today we're going to do a little self-portrait. Now, I don't want you to freak out. I'm going to walk you through a process, and it's not going to be, it's just going to be a representation. It's not going to be an actual self-portrait, okay? And this is how I draw a person. I draw an arc. This is going back to our doodle alphabet. And then I draw an upside down arc. So that's the body and that's the face. And then really the determining factor in what comes next is the hair. And so I'm going to show you a variety of hair. Okay, so I've got a new card here. So if I have an arc and an arc, it almost looks like a, I don't know, it looks like an egg cup, I suppose. So if you have short hair, you could just do, kind of um, angles and an arc that goes over the top. Or you could have an arc and an arc, and you could have just one simple angle, and it could look like that. Or you could have an arc and an arc, and you could have your part going in the opposite direction, and you could have more jaggedy hair, or you could have an arc and an arc, and if you have long hair, you could have long hair, and then you can decide what you want to do with it. If you have a ponytail, you could have an arc and an arc, and you could have your hair all pulled back like this, and you could put a ponytail in it. So there are lots of different ways that you can draw hair. And so it's not, I don't want you to stress out over being exactly accurate. I just wanted to kind of depict, how kind of a sort of resemblance of um, how you might, something that you can maybe identify, or you can just draw a person. It doesn't have to be you, but it represents you. So I wear glasses, and so I'm going to put glasses on my face right here. And then I have hair that's long, so I'm going to draw long hair. And my hair is always pulled back, but I don't know how to draw pulled back hair, so I'm not going to pull it back. So that's going to be my little self, and I'm going to put a smiley face, and I'm not blind, so I'm going to put some eyes, and there's my happy little cozy self. And then from this, I'm going to draw lines that kind of similar to what we did probably the first day. These lines kind of radiate away from where we are. And I want you to think about things you are wanting to take with you from this doodle camp. This camp has been all about lines that matter and ideas that matter and words that matter and thoughts that matter. And these things are really important. Our thoughts matter so much. We can change our reality simply by the things that we think. And so I want, and so in my corner, I'm going to write mindset. And this can be, you can do bubble letters if you want, but doodling isn't always about, doing it a certain way. So um, they can be just straight up regular letters. And then right here, I'm going to do a brain because I want to train my brain to think good thoughts. And there's always a good thought to be had. I know that yesterday I went through a process of thinking good thoughts and ways to find the good. So mindset is an important part for me. And I know that no matter what happens, I can think good thoughts. I can change the way that I feel simply by changing the way that I think. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to move your body. You don't have to move your state. You can just simply choose a different thought at any given moment. It takes practice. It's not something that comes naturally. For some reason, we're kind of wired to expect or dwell on things. A lot of us tend to be warriors, not W-A, W-O. We worry about things. And worrying doesn't actually fix anything. So, instead we think, what if something goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? And instead of thinking, what if something goes wrong? How about if we switched it to, what if this goes right? Wouldn't it be amazing if we focused on, wow, what if that goes right? It's just a change in thought. And we can train our brains to think that way. That would be huge. The other thing that I want to dwell on and I focus on, and I'm very intentional about, is taking time to create. And create is a word that I doodle often because it's part of the fiber of my being. It's been my word of the year for several years in different, um, I've kind of morphed it in different ways over several years. And so I've learned to doodle it in many different ways. So I feel like we're created to create. And so that's something that is part of what I'm very intentional about. I always take time to create, and it's not often a big chunk of time. It's very rarely do I take 45 minutes at a time to create. Most of the time, it's a 5-minute block of time or during a phone call. Lots of times it's a multitasking. I try not to let all my creativity be during multitasking because I feel like being created to create, I need some time to let my brain catch up. And doodling helps me to slow down and memory consolidation takes place. And I am able to see things from a different perspective. And my brain can catch up and see solutions to things that I haven't given it space to solve prior to that. And oftentimes, things that stress me out, as soon as I stop and, I can stop focusing on the issue. Like I just kind of give up and go, okay, never mind, my brain's going to figure it out. And I move on to something different. I move on and I create. I move on and I doodle. And the issues resolve, the solutions manifest. And so things work out. And so that's become one of the things that I say. Things always have a way of working out. This is going to solve itself. This has a way of working out. Things always work out. And it's true. Things always work out. Might not be the way that we anticipate, but they always work out. So part of the reason that I create is because I want to slow down. And so part of what I want to remember is life doesn't have to rush. Life doesn't have to be in a hurry. I know that we get so busy and it's hard, how will we fit everything into our day? But there's a book called Rest, How to Get More Done by Working Less. And the premise of the book is we spend so much energy being so busy that we actually kind of run circles and become less productive because we're trying to be too productive. And so um, if we can actually spend much less time, he even says, work 4 hours solid and give yourself time to rest. And resting is a skill similar to public speaking. We have to actually practice taking a break. We're so programmed to be productive, to be busy. And if we're not being busy, then we must be lazy. And that's a farce. That's our culture and our society that has drummed that into us, and it's not true. So we have to practice. I am going to be still. Is a Bible verse that says, be still and know that I am God. And that's such a huge gift that we can give ourselves. Be still. We do not need to solve everything. Sometimes we can draw images or icons to help us communicate ideas. And that's a whole class in itself. By the way, this little self-portrait thingy, I did an entire class inside Time Out for Teachers where we just drew. We spent an entire session just drawing little people. Um, just like we spent an entire session drawing different icons. Um, so I'm going to draw this cock here, and it's just a circle with marks. And I'm going to draw the hands of a clock. And so one of the things that I want to take from Doodle Camp is the fact that I have time. It doesn't have to be a ton of time. I just need a few minutes of time. Time for self-care. Time out to create. Time out to reflect. Time out. Self-care is such an important part of what we need and we do not give ourselves enough of. Then I want you to draw another circle. So I'm going to counteract this time circle here with a circle right here. And I want you to double up on that circle. We're drawing this magnifying glass. So here's a little handle to our magnifying glass going directly to my little person. And this magnifying glass is going to help us find the good. So inside of this, I'm going to write good. And where can we find the good? In every situation, there's good. I think if you watch the replay of, I don't know, I don't think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, I spoke about my daughter's car wreck and that she was rear-ended. Today, my air conditioning had to be fixed. And, then you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe my air conditioning broke and it was during the heat wave and it was, how dare it be during the worst part of the time. But I'm just like, you know what? A, I have air conditioning. Hallelujah. Can you imagine living in a time when there wasn't air conditioning? B, all I had to do was get the refrigerant recharged. I could have had to replace the whole thing. I was pretty positive it wasn't a replace the whole thing situation. It was just a recharge. And he put some stuff in it to block a leak. So, you know, done this before, might have to do it again. But man, what a blessing. Also, my brother's here, so I didn't have to go home and meet the guy. My brother was there, he could take care of it. So isn't that amazing? So now I can be here doodling with you instead of at home meeting the nerdy air conditioning guy. Um, and it's actually cooled down enough during the evenings that I could run the air conditioning part-time during the day and turn it off at nighttime. And we've been comfortable with ceiling fans. It's actually not been bad. So there's so many things that I could have been like, wah, wah, wah. But I can find the good. There's so much good. So I want you to focus on, if there's one thing that you take from this, I'm prescribing this, finding the good. Some of this I want you to be personal with, but I hope that if nothing else, if you don't take anything else from this, I want you to take Doodle and find the good.
There's a positive in every negative.
There's absolutely a positive in every negative. And if there wasn't a if you, it's just like you can't see if there's no dark, you don't appreciate the light. So without the rain, there wouldn't be flowers. I mean, there's so many parallels there. So take the time, and when it's the worst possible situation, when you've dealt with the most difficult parent, when you're dealing with the most ridiculous situation, stop and go, okay, I'm going to think of three positives. And sometimes it will be a stretch. Like when you're first looking for the good, you're like, search me. There is not, but you can go, well, I have a sense of humor about it. One, I survived that conversation without my eyes rolling right out of my head. That's two. So even if you have to start with the most ridiculous and kind of sarcastic options, start there because that is a good place to start. And the more you exercise that muscle, the muscle of finding the good, the easier it will become. And people will go, "You're such a Pollyanna," but isn't it more fun to be positive than negative? And it's not that you're not being realistic. I mean, there are things that just absolutely suck. And it's not that you don't have to deal with them, but it's much easier to deal with them when you have a positive attitude and when you are solution oriented rather than stuck in the mess of it. So that's what doodling does for me. It helps me find solutions. And so I want you to remember that you can stop and smell the flowers. It's not all about rushing. Sometimes it's just a time to take a break. Sometimes it's looking at the little bugs that are on the flowers. Sometimes it's studying the leaves. And so, whatever it is that makes you happy, I want you to take the time to do those things. Sometimes it's reading a book. I love to have a book. I often don't read because I spend so much time on a screen in my life that by the time I get home and have time to read, my eyes are so tired that my brain is still awake, but my eyes are struggling. And so I'm an audiobook reader and I love that. So
I was about to
that's what
say
I
that's
do.
what I do.
Yeah.
Audiobooks are save
Nothing
life
wrong
saving.
with that.
That's the best. I like the idea of reading, but I will just tell you that the combination of doodling and an audiobook, win win.
Right.
It's such a great thing. Or podcasts and doodling. Doodling actually, while you listen, helps you to retain and listen um, and remember the information better. That's a scientific fact. And then let's see. I don't know. We have one more space, and you can choose something that you want to keep in it. I'm going to put positive just because that stays with me always. Being positive. But if you have a different word, it might be rest. It might be balance. It might be, I don't know, community. It might be family. You decide what your word is that you want to have. Or you might just want to add a pattern. There's so many things that you could do in that space. There's no right or wrong. So I'm going to add doodles around this stuff that we have um, put around our little self pictures, our self images, our self portraits. And I want you to have this card or this image somewhere where you can see it as a reminder for you to take time out for self-care. It is such an important gift that you can give yourself. And when you take care of yourself, it is easier for you to take care of others. We spend so much time pouring into and nurturing the people around us that rarely do we take the time to nurture ourselves. And if you've traveled, you've heard the term where they always say, if there's a situation where you need an air mask, put your mask on before you help someone else. And doodling is like putting your mask on before helping someone else, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you get so burned out and you become resentful of, and then it's harder to be positive. It's harder for you to go, well, who's doing for me when I'm doing for everybody? And I told you that I was going to tell you about Time Out for teachers. It's a membership that I have for teachers and for educators. And every month we get together and do a doodle session similar to the ones that we have done this week. And they change every month. Sometimes it's kind of a continuation from, like I'll do one project that goes over 2 months. That's not most of the time, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes there's paper folding. It's just a creative something that we do that's for fun. The membership is building. It really is based on, members, supporting members, but it's a place where you can come aside, find a place where there are positive people who are focused on finding the good and and finding ways to use doodling in their classrooms as a way to help students self-regulate and learn. Doodling is a fantastic tool and strategy for helping students learn. It's the picture superiority effect is amazing. They remember so much better when they use, like, for instance, sketchnoting. And it's not, you don't have to be a professional doodler in order to make it stick. They can actually doodle random geometric shapes and to help them remember things. And so just classroom strategies and personal strategies and tools that can help. And so I don't have the full details that I want to share now because I'm revamping the structure of the membership, but I will be sending information to everybody who is watching this replay because membership is going to open up during July. I'm opening up July. I'm going to send out a doodle challenge, just kind of as something that you can doodle along to kind of develop a doodle practice. I hope that this doodle camp is kind of kickstarting that for you. And then just little prompts that can help you, like inspire, maybe give you some little creative boosts to keep you doodling, things that you can do personally, things that you can do with your kids in the classroom. I think that doodling in the classroom is a great way for kids to participate in just something that they enjoy, where it's not a requirement. If they want to, they can. It can be kind of a reward or an option for even the kids who are the most challenging. Just say, you know what, let's just doodle together. It takes away all of the tension that makes things tricky in your relationship. And so if you doodle together, it kind of is a relationship builder. And it kind of evens out the playing field and makes them know that you care. And it just changes the dynamic so much. And so I'm actually developing a program as well. I'm in the final stages of a program where I'm going to work with individual teachers where we talk about your classroom and your situation specifically and find ways that you can and strategies that you can bring into your classroom and into your life that help you, just directly with whatever is not generic challenges, but like I have this particular kid who is doing this particular thing, and what can I do to kind of overcome that? And so that's going to be a higher level program, and it's a beta program. So I'm really excited to start taking applications for that. And so all of that stuff is going to come to you very, very soon. I'm super excited about it. It's just, I've been working with my business coach as well, and she's just super excited about helping me launch it. And she's pushing me, she's making me do it. And I'm excited about it too. It's just like, she's like, Dee, rip the Band-Aid off. You're doing it. You're good. Like, okay, fine, I'm doing it. So
Sometimes that's what you need.
yeah, it's super, super cool. I'm very, very excited. It's been in the back of my mind for a long time, but she's just like, now, it's now. Now is the time. So as you add little doodles to your page, you can add backgrounds to your little person. You can add textures behind your words. You can add shadows behind the words. You can refer to the first card that we did with different patterns. There's so many different patterns. A lot of people struggle with what patterns to do. And if you have the disco alphabet, that's that's your first line of defense. But if you are following me on Instagram, I often share different pattern ideas there. Um, every month I share my mini calendar for the month past, and that often has different patterns on it. And you develop a pattern library. It just, the more you doodle, the more you have to create with, you will find yourself getting into the flow. And using the same patterns, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Just straight lines or curved lines over and over. The slowing down and the adding lines is really where it's at. It's the process of just being intentional and methodical and giving yourself the time and space to be creative. If any of you are interested in sharing your card or your image with me, I would love to add it to my story, whether it's today or tomorrow or whenever. I would love to see it. I will add mine. I don't know if today I added the images from the past 3 days today, and then later on today I will add this one. It's fun to see
Yeah, I
what
saw
people
them. They
do and create.
look
Say it
good.
again.
I saw them on Instagram.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I've got to go back and get them done.
Yeah. I should do doodle sessions in the middle of the day more. I mean, it's on one way it adds pressure to my life because there's so much to do at work, but man, this middle of the day, dude, there's something to be said for middle of the day doodling. I've been productive this week. I've gotten things done.
Yeah, because I'm finding like today, for instance, I was like, okay, I gotta get myself where I can be here about 1:30. So I was like, boom, 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 super
I'm
productive
telling
this
you,
week.
man, it's been great. I mean, I normally doodle at the office as well. Thursdays are normally our office meeting day, and so I typically doodle on a Thursday anyway because I doodle in every meeting. But
Mhm.
this every day this week has been fun. So much fun. I'm gonna put a little neck on my person. Isn't it amazing how you can go from an upside down you and a right side up you to a little person?
Yeah.
I'm not even, I'm just like a doodler. I'm not even an artist. Yay. That's so cute. Doesn't look like me, but it feels like me.
You are an artist.
Yes, you are.
I'm a doodler. I just go with doodling.
Doodling is an art form.
It is an art form.
So that makes you an artist.
I don't like the pressure of like art. When people say you're an artist, it's like I can publish and sell things, and it's like I wouldn't publish and sell this, but I enjoy the process, and so it's good.
That's all that matters.
I've gotten to the place where my doodling has developed to where I can publish and sell like coloring books and stuff, but it's not, it's just because of the amount of time that I've spent doing it. Which fair enough, time well spent. It's not a waste. Tammy, I'm working on a curriculum for grades 4 through 6 of Doodle lessons,
Oh, okay.
and I feel your pain.
Oh man. It's it's so tough, I tell you.
Yeah,
Especially when you have other, other things to do too. It's
I
like,
know. It's just, I mean, it's so much fun, but then you're like, okay, I've already done that. Now what?
oh yeah, yeah. It's always like, okay, I gotta add this element and this element, this element. It's
That's fun though.
yeah.
Very good. Well, I am so grateful that you all have doodled with me. I hope that you enjoy finishing up your cards. I hope that the collection of cards is meaningful for you and that you will continue your doodle journey. I can't wait to doodle with you some more. There will be lots of other opportunities. I'm going to have one-off classes as well, so stay tuned for that. They will be inside the Timeout for Teachers platform, but they will be standalone classes if that makes it more attainable. But there are lots of doodle opportunities. And if you have a group of teachers or homeschool parents or church people who would love to have a doodle session, I am open to providing that for your group. And just let me know what you're most interested in, and we can figure something out. And I hope that you will have a fun summer further. And thank you for joining. It's been so much fun. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see you. Very good. Thanks for coming,
This
you
has been
guys.
good.
Great
Yes.
to see you.
You too.
See ya. Bye.
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 Thank you,
Thank you.
Dee.
Yeah.